My name's Angela Sylvaine, and I'm going to be reading an excerpt from my novella Chopping Spree, an homage to 1980s slashers and mall culture, which will be released by Unnerving Books in early April as part of their Rewind or Die series. In this novella, we join Penny, a teen girl who recently got a job at Eden Hills Fashion Mall. At the start of her shift, she had a strange encounter with a man dressed as a wolf that was ranting about an altar of capitalism and hunting pigs. Here we go. Eden Hills Fashion Mall will close in 5 minutes, a voice announced over the loudspeaker, interrupting Dead Man's party. Penny grimaced as the lyrics told of a man dying from a lightning strike, all while the storm still raged outside, the crack and roll of thunder audible even through the dense layers of concrete surrounding her on all sides. Threads was almost empty, with the last remaining shopper checking out at the island of registers in the middle of the store. The shift lead, Faye, finished the young woman's transaction with a cheerful, "Thanks for shopping at Threads." After the customer left, Faye picked up her dog-eared copy of Atlas Shrugged and flipped the page. For some reason, the girl was obsessed with Ayn Rand. Penny stood near the front display windows at a tiered table of men's polos in an array of pastel colors, using a board to fold each one and stack them into piles according to size. Yelena rolled by, using the fitting room's return rack as her own personal scooter. Clad in a black long-sleeve mini dress and combat boots, she clashed with everything in the store. "You're gonna get in trouble," Penny whispered. Yelena hopped down from the rack, tucked her cropped black hair behind one ear. The silver charm bracelet on her wrist glittered under the lights, and Penny noticed a strange charm stamped with what looked like a capital P and an L combined into one. The symbol looked oddly familiar, but she couldn't place from where. "Please, what are they going to do, fire me?" "Maybe," Penny replied, though she knew that was impossible. Yelena's parents owned the store, so she could get away with anything. Yelena grabbed a mannequin with a teased-out brunette hairdo and pulled it from its stand. She held it close, clasping its hand and spinning in a circle. Penny snorted a laugh. "You're in a good mood." The change in her friend over the last year was amazing, and she had the mall to thank for it. Before opening Threads, Yelena's family had been struggling to pay the bills and fighting nonstop. Now they were all happier than ever. "Keep that to yourself. I have a goth image to protect, you know." As Yelena stuck her dance partner back on its stand, the brown wig slid from its head and dropped to the floor like roadkill. The image of the weirdo from earlier flashed through Penny's mind. "Hey, did you see a guy running around earlier in a wolf mask?" "A wolf mask? No." "He was kind of creepy. I mean, who wears a mask to shop?" "The Halloween store opened last week. Maybe he was trying out his costume." "Yeah, that's probably it." His rantings about an altar of capitalism and hunting pigs kept playing through her mind. Faye walked past them down the center aisle, her blonde ponytail bouncing with each step, and grabbed the pole tucked in the corner. She used the hook to lower the metal gate that spanned the front entrance and flipped the lock, then faced the other girls, arms crossed. "Have you finished returns? Balanced your drawer? We can't start inventory until all that other stuff is done." "You're not the boss of us, Faye," Yelena said. "This isn't the cheer squad." Penny held back a smile. I think she's like literally the boss of us." And Faye was actually pretty cool to work with, taking extra time to show Penny how to make a schedule and submit payroll so she'd be qualified to be a lead herself soon. "Mellow out, babe." Dirk strolled up from the men's fitting rooms in the back of the store and draped a muscled arm over Faye's shoulder. He grinned, displaying the cutest dimples Penny had ever seen. Well, the second cutest. Her previous next-door neighbor and first kiss, Becca, had killer dimples. Penny frowned. Were Dirk and Faye dating? "So are you guys ready for some fun tonight?" He pulled a mini bottle of brown liquor from his pocket, cracked it open, and chugged. A sharp whiff of whiskey stung her nose. Yelena had warned her they usually turned inventory nights into an excuse to party. The three of them were all a year ahead of Penny, who was a junior, and this was her chance to prove herself. But if her dad found out she was drinking at work, he would never trust her again, and he definitely wouldn't give her a job managing one of his restaurants. She couldn't stay. Babe, can we at least finish our work first? Faye reached up to fiddle with the necklace that had been tucked into her collar, a silver chain and charm identical to the one on Yelena's bracelet. Hey, what is that thing? Penny said. What thing? Faye said. That symbol you guys are wearing. Penny pointed to the necklace. Oh, it's a mall thing, like an anniversary gift once you've been here a while, Yelena said in a rush, sharing a glance with Faye. Penny narrowed her eyes. Her best friend was lying. Dirk winked and held up his hand to show a signet ring with the same symbol. Don't worry, Red. You'll earn yours soon. Red? Faye snorted. What? You know I've got a thing for hot redheads? Dirk strode off, with Faye trailing after him. You can't just flirt with other girls, jerk, Faye said. Penny's cheeks heated, and she was grateful he hadn't stayed to witness her embarrassment. Had he really been flirting with her? Yelena grabbed her arm once the others were out of earshot. He likes you, she said in a sing-song voice. Yeah, right. Penny's excitement about Dirk faded with the thought of those matching charms. She'd seen little of her friend lately and thought she'd been busy with work, but maybe Yelena had been pulling away to hang out with her new cool friends. So what do you think? Are you going to stay for the party? Do you really want me to? Penny asked, her tone sharper than she'd intended. I wouldn't want to crash this secret little club you never even mentioned. Come on, stay. It'll be fun. She sighed. I can't. If my dad ever found out, he'd disown me. Dirk switched shifts to work with you tonight, after he saw your name on the schedule. No way. I swear. Yelena made a little X over her heart with her finger. Plus, I miss you. Please. Penny's resolve crumbled. Fine, I'll stay. Her dad couldn't be bothered to pick her up from work anyway, so he would never know. Whiskey did not agree with Penny, but to her great relief, she made it to the bathroom at the back of the storeroom before puking her guts out. She was a total lightweight, having only ever tried wine and on a rare occasion champagne. Squinting against the too bright fluorescent light that reflected off the white tiled floor, she rinsed her mouth and patted the sheen of sweat from her skin before reapplying her strawberry lip gloss. She sincerely doubted there would be any kind of makeout session with Dirk, considering he seemed into Faye, but she still needed to remember to find a mint. Her gaze strayed to the quote painted on the bathroom wall, visible behind her in the mirror. All wealth is the product of labor. John Locke. Yelena's parents had stenciled the words there as motivation, but Penny questioned the choice every time she saw it. Hadn't they ever heard of teamwork makes the dream work, or there is no I in team? A muted scream interrupted her thoughts, and she shut off the water, straining to confirm what she'd heard. Another scream sounded, appearing to come from the other side of the wall by the toilet. Penny opened the bathroom door and peered down the aisle of clothing-stacked metal shelves that lined the long, thin storeroom. Dirk, Faye, and Yelena sat cross-legged in a circle at the end of the aisle where she'd left them. The scream sounded again, louder this time, from the employee-only corridor that ran behind all the stores. Penny considered telling the others what she'd heard, but she'd already embarrassed herself once tonight and decided to check it out herself first. It was probably just someone fooling around anyway. She crept toward the store's rear exit and pushed into the door-lined corridor, a wide and high-ceilinged hallway used for deliveries. A guy in a yellow polo and visor that served as the uniform for Cousin Patty's Pretzels next door lay just a few feet away, curled into a ball on the concrete floor with a pool of blood widening beside him. Oh, God! She dropped to her knees beside him, tentatively touching his shoulder. What happened? The guy rolled to his back, revealing the source of the blood, a massive wound in the center of his chest. Help! Stabbed! He stabbed! The guy coughed, spraying her face in a mist of blood. Trembling, she pressed her hands to the wound. "Help!" she yelled. "Help us!" Someone needed to call an ambulance, but she could feel his blood seeping through her fingers and knew she needed to keep pressure on the wound. "Who did this to you?" He grabbed her wrist and raised his head. "The wolf." Wolf. The word echoed in her mind, brought up the picture of the snarling snout and that strange man who'd scared her. And if you want to know more, you can pick up a copy of Chopping Spree when it's released in early April from Unnerving Books. Thanks for listening.